You've got Sam Hubbard, Jerome Baker, and Denzel Ward, of course, who sat out the Cotton Bowl, who have decided to move on to the NFL draft. Other than that, of course, the seniors and redshirt seniors like a Billy Price and JT Parrott moving on to the NFL. So any thoughts? If I throw those names out and anyone else who's moving on from here, who are you going to miss the most? Who do you think is going to be missed the most by the 2018 team?
That's
is that a really tough one?
Well, it is a tough one, but I'll add another layer to it. I think I am more surprised by the players that have said that they are going to stay. And not to say that they shouldn't have stayed, but it does kind of perk my ears to think maybe they obviously have a little bit of inside info, and it makes me think that specifically on the offensive side of the ball, what might be changing, what they might be looking forward to. And, I'm obviously a big fan of JT Barrett and what he contributed to Ohio State while he was here. And I will never say that he's not part of the top echelon of quarterbacks at Ohio State. But it is interesting to see that possibly things might be opening up for Ohio State's offense, knowing now that guys like Mike Weber and Paris Campbell are saying that they're going to stay. It's interesting. It might be that a few more wrinkles have been thrown in there. It might be, Joe Burrow has even mentioned that he might be possibly transferring. So the picture is coming into focus now about what this Ohio State might be, offense might be looking like next year, just because of the guys who are staying and because of some of the comments Joe Burrow has made.
Claire, no knock on Paris Campbell or Johnny Dixon, but when I read online that they made an announcement that they were not entering the NFL draft, I thought, was this announcement really necessary?
I had a feeling you would feel that way too.
Were there NFL general managers just thinking, shoot, we're going to have to wait another year?
No, but I think obviously they have some growing too, and there have been guys in the past that I'm like, why? I don't understand why you're not staying. So I think that has usually more to do with the current culture and where they think they're going to be in fitting into that offense. But yeah, I had a feeling you might now. Mike Weber is questionable as far as like, are we surprised that he stayed or went? I don't think I would have been really surprised either way. With J.K. Dobbins and his emergence because Mike Weber was injured. But then once Mike Weber was healthy, watching the tandem of those two was electrifying. And there were times that they really needed to lean on Mike Weber, and there were times that they really should have leaned a little more on J.K. Dobbins. So the fact that he is staying and knowing that there will be even more competition for that tailback position, or the tandem of those two together, is probably the most exciting thing I'm looking forward to.
Yeah, I think that makes total sense because, as you say, it was proven that J.K. Dobbins is not going to just take Mike Weber's job, that there is a definite dynamic there that can be utilized between using both of them that makes the offense so much better. So there is a place for Mike Weber to carry the ball 15 to 18 times a game, have some huge games like he did against Michigan State. I also think he comes back next year and shows that he can put together a complete season because we're removed from his freshman campaign. He got off to a rough start because of injury this past season, and he wants to show NFL GMs that I'm going to suit up for 12 to 15 games and be a complimentary back and a guy that could get you the tough yardage, but I still have a burst, and I'm going to be a viable guy in this offense. And certainly in this day and age when you need multiple running backs, especially at the next level, there's nothing wrong with that. If he can extend basically what he did in 5 to 6 games to a full season, he will be in great shape for the next year's draft.
I agree. And we're watching teams like Georgia do it successfully as well. And obviously they didn't have a problem executing that system. So it's exciting for both guys, and it's exciting for the position at tailback, knowing that they've got the depth and the ability to create a few more wrinkles.
All right, folks on Facebook, the voice you're hearing is that of Claire Crawford. She is with eozone.net, and she has a podcast with Joe Dexter. It's called Oh Hail No.
Oh,
So if you
hell
don't
no.
get there right away, then let it sink in and you'll get it. If you love the Buckeyes, especially, you'll get it.
Yeah.
For those watching on YouTube, of course, I'll make these videos available very, very soon. For anybody on Facebook, we appreciate you jumping on for the first time. This is the first time we're going live on Facebook. Claire and I get together about once a week to talk Ohio State football. I see that nobody's got any particular questions, but I do have to make a shout out to Ole Miss Evie because she just said hi. Like to watch you, Mark. Pleasure watching you. So that's Ole Miss Evie. So she runs a Ole Miss site, does a great job covering Ole Miss football.
I love Edie and I love Oxford, and I was about this close to going to school there. So she just barely missed out. I'm not a Southern Belle. I don't think they would have let me back.
But you almost chose Ole Miss.
I was very close. I had a relative who worked there, and I think I decided I was laying out on the back deck thinking this little Yankee was going to get some sun. And the pages of my magazine started to come out because the glue was melting. And I thought, this is the sign I need to go inside. It's too hot here. I'm not made for this.
I lived in Mississippi for 6 years, and I suffered through many of those summers as well. Yeah. Yes. We had a summer there, and I think it was the last summer I was there. And I looked this up later, and I'm not a geek for weather. I'm a geek for sports, not a geek for weather. This is the only time I've ever done this. But I found a site where you could go to any zip code and find out the temperature, the high and the low, every day, any day in history over the last 100 years or so. So I looked it up for my particular town in Mississippi, Columbus, Mississippi. It never went below 90 degrees from May. It hit 90 in May, and it never went below 90 until October.
And 90 in Mississippi feels like hotter than the 110 in Arizona.
Yeah.
Way hotter.
I was playing tennis in Mississippi with a buddy of mine one time, and it was so hot, like it was 107, like it hit like 107, 109 that day. Maybe it was more like 103. I couldn't stand on one spot on the court. I kept like walking around because I couldn't stand in one spot because the heat was going through my shoes. It's crazy.
No. So we have much respect for you, Edie.
All right. Good stuff. Talking Ohio State football with Claire Crawford each and every week. Check out Claire's show with Joe Dexter. Oh, hail no. Just go to theozone.net. All right, Claire, we appreciate the discussion. It's always fun.
Thank you for having me on, as always. I'm cooking up my Alex Grinch jokes in the meantime.
You got plenty of time to work on those. So I'll be expecting a lot now that you've made that claim.
Oh, don't you worry.